Hey, what's up guys, 𝐻𝐤𝐤 here, and welcome to episode 5 of Scaling to Glory. I first off want to start off this episode by saying a big thank you to you guys for the support lately on this series. I know, as I said in some of the previous episodes, that I haven't really been as consistent, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I've been overwhelmed, so big thank you to you guys for the support on this series as well as on the tutorials. And yeah, big thank you to you again, once again. And of course, as always, if you enjoy this series, make sure to drop a like, shows your support, of course. And subscribe and hit the notification bell as well if you have not already. So in the background, you were able to see that I made some adjustments to the stadium as we did reach the second tier. Decided to change the colors and stuff, added some things to the site, just some fancy things really. Then after that, I once again decided to make some changes to the team. As in the previous episode, we got Gomez into our team, which is probably one of the best defenders right now in the game. So yeah, I decided to keep him into the team, also pick up 𝐋𝐢𝐤𝐤 𝐒𝐿. And I had something in mind of some of the players that I wanted to pick up. You saw that I had 𝐷i there as a concept player and also de Ligt as a concept player. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure that most players were on full chemistry. And with the team I had in mind, there was going to be one player which was not going to be on full chemistry, and that was going to be 𝐷i. Now, from previous editions of FIFA, FIFA 20 and FIFA 19, 18, 17, I've had played so many games with players on 7 chemistry or on 8 chemistry that yeah, it didn't really matter much whether or not they were on like 10 or something, or 9 or on 8. I just didn't really feel a big difference. So yeah, I decided to just go for it basically, and yeah, decided to build this specific team. You can see that we sold on some players which I had packed, and afterwards I decided to actually do some of the SBCs as well, the marquee matchups. I did not fully complete this one, as at the moment I did not have any access to players from Leipzig or Schalke, and I assumed anyway that they were going for quite a bit. So what I decided to do was just simply finish off the SBCs, finish off the teams that I was able to do with the players I had in my club, and then hopefully pack some players from Leipzig and Schalke, so I was able to put them into that SBC as well. The first pack we opened were some silver ones, which I think we were able to sell for something, because I think silvers are needed for some SBCs. So yeah, they're always welcome into the team. Then we have Diaby there, which I think went for like 1.8-ish, 2K-ish, so he was a nice player to sell. We also had a pretty decent Argentinian striker with 3-star skills, 5-star weak foot. I believe his name is Avila or something, so it's like a decent Argentinian striker for your starter team. And I think we managed to sell him on as well eventually. And also Reina here, a silver player, which I think went for around 2K-ish. Yeah, silver player from Dortmund, obviously an American player, and yeah, since he plays for Dortmund, he actually did go for something eventually as well. So sent the remaining players to the club, and then after that, I decided to change the team around once again. You can see that I sold on 𝐶ESNY and de Ligt, which I actually bought. Also decided to sell on Manolas, Douglas Costa, some players which I packed in the previous episode, and actually had the intention of keeping, as they were probably going to be rising in price. But what I decided to do instead was actually make a different team, or at least make some changes to the defense especially. So I decided to keep Klosterman and Gomez, as we both packed them in the first episode, or in the previous episode, and stick him into the team and just build a team around those 2 center backs. Because 1, they look very good, and 2, they're most likely going to rise in price as well. Klosterman at the time was still extinct, so yeah, it was kind of dumb for me if I had sold him on at that point. So I decided to just keep him and try to see how well he plays in the game. I picked up Schultz as my left back and Walker as my right back. And Walker was one I wasn't really fully sure on. I know Walker is like amazing and stuff, but he was 90k, so I wasn't too sure whether or not I made like a good deal on him. My assumption is anyway that he's going to rise in price. Same for Wijnaldum. I think he's extinct as well at the moment, so yeah, he's probably going to rise in price as well. And yeah, also picked up Di Maria for 12.5k, 87 rated. I think the only reason why he's that low is because of the certain links you can, or because of the league he plays in. There aren't any like really good players apart from Mbappe, Neymar and stuff you can link him up with. So yeah, picked him up for fairly cheap. And then we also have Theo Hernandez on the bench, which was the left back I managed to snipe for 6k. And right now I think he goes for like 20, 25k. And he's most likely going to be in the team of the week as well. So yeah, all in all, a very good team on which we can also make some profit with, which is a good sign as well, as Weekend League is approaching fast as well. So yeah, I'm not fully sure yet whether or not I should keep this team for Weekend League or sell it and then buy it back at a later point. Anyway, we jump into our first rivals game in Division 4, and we came up against this almost full Brazilian team, with also the Atletico Madrid version of Thomas Partey and Jesus Navas as his right back. And we started off here with a little bit of a skill run with Dembele, where we got a lot of luck as we still kept the ball. And then the shot was just completely terrible. I really noticed as well that the gameplay was different compared to what it was on the beta. I'm not fully sure if I mentioned that during the placement matches, but I felt that it was really slow, which makes sense because during the beta I actually had access to some players which were just completely juiced when it comes to the stats. But we start off with a nice goal, a no-look finish from Dembele. A good goal to start things off. Then we had a run going here where we eventually took a shot here with 𝐻𝐤𝐤𝐞, which the goalkeeper saved. And then we moved on into the second half already, as the first half wasn't that really interesting. Then 60th minute, we intercept the ball once again here with 𝐻𝐤𝐤𝐞. Find Memphis Depay there, go for a La Croqueta. Do a drag back to create some space, pick it up with Promes, who goes for the finesse shot, but again, a good save from the keeper. Then 65th minute, this happened. I intercept the ball with Schulz, I run into his Rodrigo again. I try to just keep him in front of me to hopefully intercept the ball, but he played it out wide to Partey, finds Coutinho there, who then passes it off to 𝐶𝐈ZA, goes for the fake shot, turns around, shoots, and my goalkeeper does not even react, and he makes it 1-1. So a little bit of an annoying goal to concede, as at this time we were the dominant side. I think that was the only big chance we gave away as well. But then shortly after a skill run with, I think, Promes, we picked up a penalty. And I was a little bit too confident. Went with the chip shot, and yeah, you can see what happened. We missed it, basically. He saved the penalty, so it was still 1-1. We created another big chance there with Memphis, which usually is a goal, but I don't know how, but he missed it. I was pretty sure that I just aimed it towards the near post, but yeah, as you can see, he missed it. Then towards the end of the game, we got another huge opportunity with Dembele, which I think I just should have gone for a far post finish instead. And then, yeah, from the rebound, we got another chance with Depay, which the goalkeeper saved. And that's how the game ended. A draw to start things off in Division 4. I was quite devastated with the result, because you can see from the stats, we were completely the dominant side in possession and also in the chances. So, not the best start. Then into the second game we go. We mostly come up against a French team with some Spanish players on the right-hand side as well. And we start things off early once again with Depay in the 4th minute. Went with a drag to heel to a shot which got blocked. Which we then picked up a corner, got cleared out by his defender, picked it up with Klosterman. Cheeky back heel to wijnaldum, who then finished it off into the top corner with his weaker foot to get his first goal as well. Then 9th minute, still very early on into the game, after some nice stuff from Di Maria, we find Memphis. A nice fake shot to give a little bit of a sprint boost to a ball roll sombrero, where I wanted to like head it forward or do like a fancy cross or something, but the goalkeeper denied us the cross there. Then 30th minute, we once again pick the ball up here with Memphis, open up fake shots to an Elastico to create a lot of space in the middle, where I wanted to take the shot. Good tackle there from him. We pick it up with Promes. Again, tried to go for the far post this time, which then got saved by the keeper. And then 10 minutes later, we picked up another corner, and it is yet again Gini Wijnaldum who puts himself on the score sheet with his second goal of the game and makes it 2-0. Then we picked the ball up with another Dutch player in the team, Quincy Promes. Some nice skill moves. Tried to do the directional nutmeg there to nutmeg my opponent, but we still had the ball in our possession. Went for the shot, and just like in the previous game, we also missed a clear opportunity, which I thought was going to be a goal. So halftime, again, the stats were in our favor, and we were doing well. It was only a matter of time until we scored the third goal, which we did. Nice finish there from Dembele there with the 1-foot spin. I believe it is called. And then a top corner finish to make it 3-0. Then at 58th minute, we send away Memphis there, where we went with the directional nutmeg there once again, which I also tried to do on the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, though, it didn't work out in our favor. But afterwards, when he tried to clear the ball out, we got the ball back again in the 64th minute with the pie again. Went with some skill moves. Was just hoping for him to rush towards me, which he did. I was actually trying to get the free kick there, but for whatever reason, we still had the ball in our possession. Then he tried to intercept it there in the box, and he gave away a penalty, which you can see. And I believe he got his players sent off as well, as Zouma picked up a second yellow. But this time, though, we did convert the penalty with Memphis. Didn't go for the chip shot. Decided to go for a power shot into the top left-hand corner. And we converted that one. Then towards the end of the game, again, tried to go for the directional nutmeg there with Memphis, which got denied. Then we picked the ball up here with an injured Di Maria, who sends Dembele away. Past the goalkeeper there, also past his defender Koundé, and then for an open net, we make it 5-0 to basically finish off this game and get the first win in Division 4. You can see from the stats that my opponent got himself back a little bit, but yeah, just like in the first half, we were mainly the dominant side. So before we went into the next game, the final game of the episode, we had to apply a injury card to Di Maria as he picked up an injury, which is something I noticed also during the beta, that injuries actually do happen quite frequently, which I believe actually is something that got taken out a couple of FIFAs ago. I think during FIFA 17 or something, it used to happen a lot, and a lot of people in the community were complaining about it, and therefore EA decided to either take it out completely or just reduce injuries, basically, which I hope they will do for this year as well, because I've already had I think 4 situations, I believe, where I had to apply a injury card to a player. So we went to the next game. You can see that we got a pretty cheesy goal with Dembele in terms of like the rebounds and stuff. But yeah, afterwards in the 16th minute, we do end up conceding a goal as well after some sloppy defending from my side. I thought I had him at least I thought I had him in terms of like defending, but yeah, he still was able to go through, and he made it 1-1. Then we got a chance there with the pie after some skill moves. It was Boateng there with an easy tackle. And a good interception there from Wijnaldum, where he picked the ball up with Memphis once again. Go for the alternative, or to the lateral heel-to-heel rather, which then got blocked off. And I knew that as soon as I had those chances at the beginning, I just did not really like, or at least I shouldn't rush my shots. So I needed to take a little bit more time and, you know, make sure that I actually had a good chance of scoring rather than just shoot in kind of a rushed situation. And you can see that the directional nutmeg in this situation worked out in our favor. We made it 2-1 with Dembele, a nice finish. And also at halftime, you can see from the stats that they were once again in our favor. So we were doing well in this final game of this video. Then we got some skill moves going with the pie. Tried to go for the 1-2 here with Dembele, which we finished off nicely as well on his weaker foot to make it 3-1. Then a few minutes later, he went on a run there with Llorente, where we intercept the ball with Di Maria. A nice back heel there to Dembele. Go for some skill moves. Was waiting for him to rush towards me, which he did with Llorente. Nice skill from Dembele to a bridge to a directional nutmeg, where we find Di Maria actually with the directional nutmeg. It almost looked like we just passed it to him, but it was actually just a knock-on really. And then a nice finish from the Argentinian to make it 4-1. And then towards the end of the game in the 83rd minute, some stuff from Promes there on the left-hand side, creating some space. We went with some setup touches with some more fancy stuff really, trying to beat his defenders in a nice way. But unfortunately, towards the end, we lost the ball. And that is how that game ended. So once again, a nice result with a lot of goals, with some decent goals as well, I have to say. And yeah, we finished off our final game for this episode in a good way as well. You can see from the stats as well that we were the dominant side. So all in all, the 3 games we had to play in this episode started off not the greatest way, but then we kind of redeemed ourselves. And like I said, we scored some nice goals. So hopefully we can keep it up for the remaining games we have to play in Division 4. I believe after this, I decided to check up on my objectives, as I had completed some of them. And we were able to open some packs as well, so that is something you will see in the background. I'm not fully sure which they were, but I think it was just some basic stuff you will just, you know, complete whenever you play some games and score like a certain amount of goals or something. But yeah, that's something you can see in the background. What I want to know from you guys is yeah, what I should do with this team. Like I mentioned before, like, I'm not fully sure whether or not I should keep this team for the first weekend league or sell it on, have some profit, and then basically buy a sort of a cheaper team back and play weekend league with that team. I really want to know that from you guys. So make sure to let me know in the comments down below, or reach out to me on Twitter, which is at 𝐋𝐢𝐤𝐞94. And that is also where we are ending off this episode. I believe we have one more pack to show to you guys. We unfortunately didn't really pack anything special. They're basically players which we can use for SBCs, which isn't really that bad either. Anyway, guys, as I said, really hope you enjoyed the video. If you of course did, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and also make sure to hit the notification bell for more videos. Anyways, that's the end. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.